Ooh, it's hot. Let me see if I can. Okay, this is feeling like a serious subject, and therefore I'm having a hard time getting started. But guys, I'm just gonna set my camera up here right on the truck and talk for a second. So, I am Benjamin Meeks, and guys, if you give me just a few minutes here, my goal is to be a blessing to you and to your family. This whole past, I don't know, for me at least, since 2020 has been a bit on the kind of like what in the world side, you know, kind of crazy side. As far as, it just feels like around every corner is another big surprise. And with that has come the realization that really we can't depend on food security for the basically security that we have. So with that being said, I want to be a blessing, have always wanted to be a blessing to you guys, to people out there who are having similar concerns of where in the world is our food going to come from, and not saying this correctly yet. How do I get this across? Let me think. Basically, guys, the bottom line is I'm about to have a kid. I'm so excited about it, and that little person is gonna be popping out in the next 2 to maybe 4 weeks. We'll see what happens. But after getting married and a kid coming, I'm just thinking in terms of providing, and I'm realizing that really when it comes down to it, you can't eat money, you can't eat gold or silver or paper, you can't, and you can't eat dirt either. So I'm realizing that the training that I've received, that I've gotten, and that I've sought out about edible landscaping and how to grow food around your house or your farm or whatever space you have, I'm realizing how vital that is and how much of a blessing I can potentially be to the world. And I'm realizing that, you know, I think this is super important. It's super important that I get to bless you guys with helpful information of what it can look like to use your space to grow food. And I'm realizing that even more and more these days it's getting crazy, and there's who knows how much food's going to be available. I've heard that there's only like 2 weeks of food supply in the grocery stores. That's a crazy thing to think about, and just thinking about that, I'm like, okay, what are some practical things that I can share with you all of how you can use your available space to grow food for your family that's going to not be so perishable, that's going to last, and it's going to be able to be a blessing to your family. Because you can go out here, there's going to be wild edibles out here, but not everybody has access to wild edibles. Plus, it's tough to live on that kind of thing. So what would be my advice for you all out there that are having families or just by yourself or whatever is your situation, but you want to be able to survive, and not just that, but thrive? I would say right now, this is summer 2022. Right now, we are in a situation where I think that everybody should at least start getting the know-how, the knowledge of how to grow your own food. Just start somewhere. Plant a seed, get some chickens, you know, do something, even if it's just one little bean seed in a little cup on your windowsill. Something small, but at least you're getting some experience. You're starting to steward something. You're starting to steward the soil. That is really what I've found, that is the core of the true food grower or gardener, is anybody who learns to steward the soil towards abundance is going to be successful. Because I like to say, happy soil equals happy plants equals happy people. It's true though. Like, guys, we need to be soil stewards. We need to be people who know how to take soil. I mean, look at this. This is not that great of soil. It's got this is shaly soil, and it's got not barely any topsoil. It's got weedy stuff coming up in it. How do you turn that into a thriving, productive garden? It takes time, but there are tips and tricks that you can do. And what I would say is right now, choose a place that you can transform into a garden and start the process right now, because it takes time. And honestly, one of my favorite times to start a garden is in the summer, because what you can do is you can get black plastic, cover it on the soil, and let the sun bake the weeds there and turn it into just soil. And then in the fall, you can come back in with compost and wood chips, or just compost, and layer that on the surface. Since everything's killed off, you can layer it on the surface, and as that decomposes, that starts to create what you see out here in just wilderness area or wild spaces. Everything's covered either by something brown or something green. Brown meaning like decomposing material, and then green, living material. If you look at this is a bunch of needles here. See this? Bunch of needles from this tree. Over time, that's how topsoil is built. So that's number one. Start to create your garden space. If you have pots, I'll show you in a little bit what we have on our little front porch. If you have pots, start building those up, starting to get in some good soil. Number two, please start to learn about high nutrient foods. You can grow all kinds of veggies, but if you don't have the knowledge and the ability to grow food that is high in nutrients, such as potatoes and plants like beans and corn, things that are going to actually grow food that you can live off of. You can't live off of tomatoes, guys. You can't, or cucumbers. Those are great, but you can't live off of them. So start learning about the plants that will actually keep you going if your family needs some food. I know a lot of people are posting about that, so there's probably plenty of info about that out online of just survival foods and stuff. But it's legit. Like you gotta get a good knowledge of how to plant those and grow them. And the best way to do it is just to start. Just get out there and do it. So also an understanding of wild edibles, that would be helpful. Number three, I would say, is don't freak out. I'm just thinking of these as I think of them. I didn't prepare this video. See, look, you got some wild blackberries here. They're not quite ready. See those there? Wild blackberries. You can see how dry it is out here. These things are literally dying on the vine. Yeah, it's pretty dry out. It's so vitally important that we are able to provide for our families, and sometimes that means sacrificing something else in order to be able to have that food security. Like my wife and I, we are looking at property buy so that we can move outside of the city. I'm gonna have to drive to get to work, but to us it's worth it because we want to have the ability and the freedom to basically grow our own food. I don't know why I said basically. To grow our own food and to have some livestock and just really to be soil stewards, not just to be like, oh, what can we take from the soil, but how can we steward this land? I think a lot of people are doing that, and I guess I just wanted to share that with you guys. And please comment and post what your concerns are, what your questions might be as far as this whole food security issue. Not to mention the food deserts that are out there where people are living off of food that's like dead food. You know what I mean? It's just like there's no nutrients there. So we need also to have the nutrients available, which is where tomatoes and cucumbers come in. But we need both. You know, we need the food that was going to keep us going, but also the food that's high in nutrients. So guys, my heart goes out to everybody out there that has a family, especially has kiddos. So those kiddos, they need somebody to protect them and to take care of them. Oh my goodness, the folks out that are orphans or that are widows or refugees. Oh my goodness, like what we've seen over in Europe, it's just gonna get, I believe it's only gonna get worse. The circumstances, I believe, will only get worse, but not folks. I think that folks are gonna rise up who are willing and ready to be servants and to be those that grow food to be able to bless others. That's what we want to do. We want to take, we don't want to just survive ourselves. We want to be able to, when I say we, my wife and I, we want to be able to bless others, and we want to be able to get to steward the land, not just for the land's sake, but also so we can bless people and we can give them what they need. Do they need water? Let's give them water. Do they need food? Let's give them food. Do they need shelter? Let's give them shelter. That kind of thing. So I know I've just been walking around talking, but I appreciate you all listening in on kind of our heart, and hopefully this has been a blessing and to get you guys thinking, because food really is, it's a perishable thing, and it's something that we need to keep thinking about as far as how we can be helpful to others and how we can start the process of learning how to grow your own food. It's so important. And even around your own house, that's where edible landscaping comes in. So folks, good to talk with you. Thanks for listening, and catch you later. Bye. Water these cucumbers. You can see the sweet potatoes are coming up. Doing good. Rabbits are getting a little bit here and there, but that's all right, they're doing good. What's pretty cool is, if you see these three, see 1, 2, 3, they were planted at the exact same time as these three. 1, 2, 3. But the only difference is, these ones, we caught fish and we put them underneath there. So these are being fertilized by fish. A lot more nitrogen. Isn't that cool? It's pretty awesome. Weed. Sweet potatoes are a great crop to grow. They just really are packed with nutrients and they grow like crazy. You can actually eat the leaves. It's this kind of plant that I'm talking about that is more of the survival type crop that will give you the nutrients you need for a good long period of time. Even if you need to save the tubers back, they're not perishable. See, out here on the porch we're growing tomatoes and cucumbers in here. But if I really wanted to grow a large amount of food in here with real high nutrient packed food, I'd probably do something more like those potatoes or white potatoes or beans.